Alrighty, howdy neighbors, and welcome back to It Gets So Lonely here. I called it. Gonna die. Just kidding. I did look on your face. Full determination. Self-same determination first prompted me to take an interest in you. I'm really not happy with the ending. I've not come all this way after all to drown. Quite an indecorous demise. Regardless of how fine stones and shells of the mermaid means to twine through your hair after your death. Whichever one you serve yourself, we also happy to indulge you. Try not to be on the bad side. The good side of any homicidal in the eyes this time. Getting a fair maiden. The cliche. Fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder which path we should take. Oh. What does the other one do? I only get 6? We're back here. Have to. Legitimate. Diplomatic answer at this juncture in your life story, but I suppose it would be remiss for me to lecture you too much. You're well aware of the every series of decisions you've made. There's no need for me to be in the blur at this point. It would be boorish, not too tedious. I'm rather tired of scolding you. Then I will content myself with loving you. What, you thought in your death memory was the only one who was able to cause it you? I know I've said this before, but you really are naive. You cannot escape me. I'm at the bottom of the deepest, darkest ocean. The world might have forsaken you, but I never will. I will never leave you. I'll never be lonely again. Hey. Go back here. Let's go to the village. They want to go to the village. Good idea. Few further trials await you there. It's far from over, which you might wish it was. And still much more to discover. I wonder what will happen next. Follow the path which leads to the village. Put yourself on weary, aching limbs. You're ready at a moment's notice. Step the knee beneath the burden of your weight. Those your feet are screaming at you. You lay down quickly. Your only hope is to turn around. You shall find a suitable residence in which to rest at the village. You do not know what will await you at the village. You have visions as you run of quaint serene settlement, thatched cottages, sloping roofs. Really, a very kindly peasant would be willing to put up a young runaway for a few nights. Neither it too, the kind of peasant, the fairy tales you read about, the abundance of the small child. You'll be a broad-shouldered and ruddy face, with a dull brown hair, brown beneath the cap. Not to be suited for many years of washing clothes and milking cows. You should be kind to you, passionate, like your mother. I don't know mothers are like. Hardly ever spoke to yours. You're only guessing. Not playful, however. By your tenacity to daydream, we do have a few reservations. The peasants do not, as you know from your voracious eating, have much money, nor do they have much food. It would be hard to convince a resident of the village, even kindly washerwoman of fantasies, like a stranger. You must try. I could do really. They are in the village. Some time before you finally emerge in the woods, but finally you manage it. Which time? You ask. Can I answer that? The time is going to lose all meaning. What's behind you now? At least, the awful nightmares just well within it. So cold though, so foggy, so dark too. Honey, at your eyes. The moon will clearly now. No, as it hangs above your head, not just a pearl, or orb, crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the village, listens upon the hills like a diorama. But new ball is within you. Finally made it. And surely not, but your salvation awaits you. Follow the winding dirt path to the village, looking this way and that. What your hope? These are precious, fragile things, the fade. Village up close does not look half so welcoming as you imagine. The cottages, yes. They're necessitated to despair. There are holes in the roofs and holes in the windows. The door was tightly shut, so keeping open. But beyond them, it was darker than the night sky which shrouds you. Arnold left that end of the windows. And never can you see any people. Someone acts like you, at them. I don't hear anything either. I'm the sound of your own footsteps in a low, full song of the wind. The village is quite quiet. Barely so. So immediately obvious. Come to a naive girl such as yourself. What's the terrible must have befallen this village? Before you try and look at one of the houses that nobody will answer you. There will be no kindly, armed washerwoman. Welcome you here. No matter how much you wish for it. It does not stop you from wishing regardless. Knuckles rap smartly against the wood door. Efforts to improve, however, to be in vain. There's nobody here. You hear your entreaties. Very sad. In the door, another, there's also the same. Look how many doors you rap upon. Nobody answers you. How could they? There's nobody there. So again, you find yourself all alone. As you found some dwellings in which you could rest your weary head. You utilize one of these cottages for your purposes. Nobody's here, you might as well. But no. An abandoned cottage is not what you're looking for. You'd far rather have companionship, would you not? Quickly, you swallow your tears. Wipe your eyes back of your arm, and well, this motion, and then you square your shoulders, and you keep on going. Surely the village cannot be completely deserted. There's only one person here, at the very least, who could help you. Everything is yours in research. From cottage to cottage, there's little to show for your determination. To make yet another discovery. This village, with its squat thatched cottages bathed in the moon's glow. Church. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelt here were not godless heathens, Jesus. And their faith did them all that much good in the end. The other side of the church see with your overtaxed heart. You're so focused on your fantasies. A friendly washerwoman taking you in. No pause to entertain the of a kindly nun. Very much the same. All hope is not lost. It was the church which stood tower over you despite being so humble. It's a small one. But it is short and stout. It is stout and sturdy. Must be. But it was dead where it stood centuries. Standing. Centennial. Or sentinel. Oops. Until the relic of a bygone era. The church does not have any stained glass windows, but it does not need them. Without more luxurious trappings, which still exudes an aura, dignified solemnity. It was supposed to be like solitude, but I don't know how to say it. Close to the building are fringed by a sensible graveyard, one which occupies the rest of the hilltop, and some of the sloping sides. The graves have been planted by generations of wardens, are hewn from a similar stone to that which the church's walls are made of. One of the gravestones is shaped like Lozenges? Flowers shaped like crosses. Temple headstones are leaves shaped like angels. And though these are far and few between. There are very few people in the village such as this one. But afford us such a luxurious, fine lasting places. With the tombstones, with an almost childlike curiosity. Getting an examination of the visual art ending fear which gripped you as you entered the forest. Out of the woods now, Bonnie, who knows, subconsciously, might have begun to relax. Tattered at the names, hewn into the arrayed tombstones. But it is dark and you are tired. Ears are very, very old indeed. You see in your eyes. But you do not have much luck in this endeavor. Superfluous details are not important. I eventually tire of examining the graves in turn. Your bed is an expensive one. And equally so, the stuff is so small. But boasts so many corpses. And there is much to explore. Walk about the perimeter of the church. It's your gaze first here and then there. Everywhere. Student as you are. Your immense all-encompassing curiosity. As you do so, you see her. There's a person! With a shovel that has seen better days. She's an ordinary girl. Small and scrawny, like herself. But she's much more than her unremarkable appearance might suggest. For some moments you observe her, waiting a little while, in the shadow cast by the church. Furtive, withered, young doggy, at a face. The shadow itself in the sun. No sunlight here though. Really nice sky, the stars and the moon. And the moon's light. The really implement the girl's clutching shimmers. If you most see what the girl is clutching in her hands. Until you see her manipulate it. Just as you're biting into the earth, you understand. It's a shovel. It's standing in an isolated corner of the graveyard. At night, it's just digging a grave. Nope. This wish you could almost be digging a hole in the thick of it. But her work seems so much too precise. The result of mere whimsy. And it's hard for you to see her. Oh, it's hard for you to see her face, given the distance between the pair of you. But her posture is one that speaks of extreme concentration. Moves slowly, mechanically, like a woman on a mission. The end of her shovel into the earth over and over. Her motions are regular enough to be repetitive. I think hypnotic almost in the manner in which she attends to this task. You risk interrupting her. You dare. Hoping that she would not appreciate it. I wonder her hands meanwhile, rather hefty. Which is it? Cause you no small amount of damage with it. Cold anxiety makes your skin prickle. You do not know you should try speaking to her when she, in her dark cloak, with her shovel, looks very strange. What do you have left to lose? Come this far. It would be folly to turn back now. With this thought, you decided to approach the strange girl. This was a quiet, but it was slinking around like a cat. Not quite enough. The senses must be found there too. She blinks. And she turns. Indeed, do you feel your breath catching your throat? I don't believe you the go before. It's still this in the shadows. When she's looking at you, you can tell that she's pretty. It's very smooth, and her hair is good with a dark. The hood is very fair. I meanwhile, here, the blue is like ice. Eyes of hers are large, with knees, a fringe with long, fair eyelashes. It's as though she has stepped out of the page of the picture book. Simply too perfect to belong to this world. She's a quite a vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But she's none of those things. shovel she's clutching in her hands looks not enough. The pointed tip glittering in the moonlight. Feel yourself. Sort of outburst. The tension soon drains the girl's slender shoulders. Her fingers are gripping the handle of her shovel tightly. Her lips curve upward at the edges. She's smiling. What a smile it is. It is transformative. She smiles, but radiant, angelic, almost. It's a smile that's so suffused with light that her eyes begin to prickle from them. So relieved, you always feel like a cry. Growing up for the first time, you wept during this night. And now that would be too surprising if you did. We've through a lot. You must be exhausted. The shovel seems to realize this. He bridges the distance between you cautiously, as one might approach a skittish cat. But she says in a rough voice which does not match her dainty appearance. But she does live in a rural village. What were you expecting? Oh, it's good to see another person. As Brett was the only person left alive. The only one in the whole world. That's quite an effusive greeting. Her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. It's rather more personable than intimate peril would make one suggest. You, overwhelmed by a young lady, hope to feel overwhelmed. You are turned now to be on your guard. Anxiously observe the girl with the shovel and ask her what she means. What happened? Oh, you not know? An awful lot you do not know. How much, in fact? It would fill a whole encyclopedia. No, a whole library. She had shamed her ignorance and throw frowns. You mustn't be from around these parts. I guess I should have known. It's a small one, everybody knows everybody. This expression falls. As they used to, there's still people to know. And it ain't the case now, though. After the plague. The plague. Like her hood. Like that has bones on it. I'm a skeleton myself. I would certainly explain why the village knew it was so quiet. Everybody else succumbed to this mysterious illness. And that, me here now. I've not seen another human being for a long, long time. It's so lonely here. An interesting turn of phrase. He's even glad I have like a burr. I've heard it before. Don't part of this, however. I will steps toward you. I'll warn my manners. I've gone rusty after being alone for so long. Apologies, miss. We have come a long way. I don't travel yet. But I'm very cold, just like ice. I'd like to come inside. Maybe have something to eat. Drink. I'm small, I'm afraid, and my food ain't nothing fancy. But maybe more than one to share. Not every day, when the girl stops by. Then I want to put it itself. I feel very blessed. Here for your Aristotle laugh. Which does not match your initial impression of her. You thought, when you saw her in the graves, it should be more distant. Somehow, more mysterious. Perhaps you're making her out with someone else. I'm sure if you have a chance to go, your reputation is an appealing one. Much more appealing, certainly, than the night outdoors in the cold. Tipping on the graves. What are you, a poet? Please. So, a show of honoring the girl's invitation, at the very least. I don't want to appear too eager. But, your act this, alas, an inevitability. Won't you ever refuse her? The first family face you've seen all night. Without her, you've been all alone. Her house leads you to a small home located about a stone's throw away from the church. In the shadows of a twisted, towering sycamore. This home is such a state. It's Seems a folly could ever call it home. Awful. Would you be more appropriate? Whispered her. And slays you aside. Are alive, she says. We are home sweet home. You don't have the heart to tell her. And you don't find her home very homey or very sweet. I'd be incredibly rude. As guest, you ought to be more appreciative. Hardly. Or currently new from surroundings. I think it's supported by wooden joists. And it is fairly slow. Not so much that you're in danger of your head. It's enough to feel claustrophobic. Far in the corner. Though it is not consigned to a grate. Fire instead of blazing in the open. Logs settle light. Like a theme in witch's kitchen. The fire hangs a silvery pot suspended from one of the wooden eaves. Your objects of interest are hung on the eaves, iron implements, you take out cooking utensils, various herbs, the meat to cure. No cooking fills the air, with the sharp, sour scent of unwashed bodies. Do you wonder, does your host clean herself? Is there a bathtub anywhere? She doesn't possess one. It's most unremarkable in regard. It is, you suppose, better than nothing. Is the roof over your head, a boot in your belly. I love the design, like the bones, and the green. I like the shade of green. All of them. Laura looks at the pot spent over the fire. She gives a stir with a ladle. She was like to her lips the taste of the concoction she was brewing within it. I only hope that she is not like some weird sisters from a famous play. Bring broth with the Benny snake fillets. Yeah, I think she's about done. The girl says to nobody in particular. Ladle down. In the pot. The dear smiles. Listen. I think you've come quite a long way. You must be hungry. The music to your ears. More divine than trumpets. God's loyal angel. So you could date a horse. Are there any horses in the immediate vicinity? What's your interest to your hostess? Smiles in response. I didn't look at that. Give me a few moments. To retrieves two earthenware bowls from the cupboard with rickety hinges, and into which she pours two hefty helpings of whatever it was she's cooking. And then she serves bread. It is so hefty to be used as a murder weapon. Much, I'm afraid. I'm soup bread. You should take the edge off your appetite, though. I think your host for hospitality. No grumbles all the while. Doesn't know anything you would totally assume. The soup's poor presentation does not dissuade you. True enough, you only fish with their eyes. When one is hungry enough, one becomes obliging enough to eat almost anything. I also think that people, when stranded upon desert islands, resort to cannibalism. To creatures of necessity. You need to wrap yourself up in pretensions. But in actuality, you're not much better than animals. You're so hungry, just aching emptily. You certainly descend upon your food like an animal. Teeth bent. Your insistent gleam. I think you've consumed all that your hostess has offered you. So which is why you eat. You can also once you've finished. Did you enjoy that? Oh. You're scathingly amused. You're so hungry you failed to think of our judgment. There's food in your belly though. You've been suitably warmed. Your self-consciousness is returning. Don't make a fool out of yourself. You demur shyly. You get your lap, fearful all the while. I always might think of you. I wanted to take against you. Fortunately for you, however, of your fragile ego, this is not the judgmental sort. She's not like the girls you grew up with. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to see my food being appreciated so heartily. I know I'm not the best, but I've been practicing for a while. It's good for my fault all the time, you see. This one catches your attention. me, look at your hostess. Your bashment over your animalistic eating habits suspended. What about your father? A grim thing to contemplate after having eaten, but it was nice just think about a plague. Yes, your hostess says. I'm soft now, furious. That's right, there's a plague. What of the villagers? What of father? They're all gone now. Gone. Susie. This arranges herself on a chair. Her slender leg flitted over the other. Begins her tale in earnest. It'll take a sip for this one. Water required. It only has a history. Centuries of the church. So to content the graveyard. This was about 6 years old then. Soon they in the dirt. But they used to prepare bodies for burial, like when he was alive. The coffins. The graves sit low with the coffins edge of the dirt. No one was doing an awful job, somebody's got to do it. Then averting our eyes from death. Know what happens to the best of us. It's an old profession. It's been handed down in our family for generations. My father's father was a grave digger. So was my father's father's father, my father's 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 father. Digging graves in our blood. There we are. My. A surprisingly pretty speech coming from a girl who lives in the countryside. Who is without much in the way of education. Her parent close the door. She slurs her syllables together. I feel like that's a dig at me. Back off. But she has never had any lessons. Not like you. There's a determination, however, to her. Right in her genealogy. She gives her a respectable aura. I hope to be impressed. I ask your hostess, does it make her no longer the grave diggers? Yes, hostess, the grave digger says. That's about right. No, I was never supposed to be a grave digger myself. Not a woman's profession. What a woman says. My father didn't mind that though. He told me everything he knew. And might be a woman, but I have plenty of upper body strength. I could dig a grave just as well as my father could, without breaking a sweat. To the despair of my mother up in heaven, I'm sure. I'm sure she's still alive. You'd rather I focus on more feminine pursuits, like basket weaving and sewing. I'd better check the suitor. I'm probably too much good now. Nobody around would court me, not for miles and miles. Though I would her mother. She died when I was very young, due to childbirth. She was 5 years old. Oh, well, later at least, on this point. If not dead. Not as far as you're aware. I haven't seen them in an awful long time. I think you're away since you're old enough. I never once bothered to check up on you. For many years there were no letters, nor any visits. Not the grave digger condolences. I don't know if they'll help, but you feel like you cannot say nothing. You seem heartless. Grave however, seem to upset with this turn of events. She smiles, albeit somberly. Died, it was ages ago. I remember too well. And I never had the luxury of sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I have too much work to do. In the house, you ask? That too. I was the oldest child. It was my job, after my mother died, to manage the cooking. One look after there are all my siblings too. You can treat and let your hostesses and build lodgings. You do not see any siblings in the immediate vicinity. Could they be? If Digger doesn't notice, you must have noticed your roving eyes. Not exactly subtle. She shakes her head. Had siblings, younger brothers. Both gone now. You should have known. Well, just the grave digger for lack of tact. She doesn't seem upset at this faux pas. I apologize. Not your fault. Brothers weren't long for the world anyway. I did that when he was still a babe. It was... I'm weary, set up dishes. I'm set up at the time, of course. I've come to terms with it. Completed thing in this wicked old world. Let me alone in this train. Braves, I mean, elderly and the infirm, the crazy young babes, still in their swaddling clothes. The nature of death is for us all in the end, no matter how old we are, how much money we have, no matter how good or bad we've been. It's the great equalizer. So I've heard. Took your stone is fine to listen to your host's speech. Not wrong. The inherent mortality of all mankind is not something I wish to contemplate. It's too disturbing. At times, my family was a small one. It was me, it was my father and me. That's fine. I liked it. Very happy. We're going lives aren't the best. Never had to get close to where. Now we can't intend to find the truths, the grand scheme of things. We ain't anything that special. I've always felt otherwise. That I was blessed. No hardship, of course, famine. That's the way life is around here. Just was low. It's helped one another out. Our father was the best in the village. We all looked after one another. Things was worked out in the end. Yes, it did. The plague happened. She had mentioned plague. I'm wondering when she was going to return to that topic. It was the plague the reason that the village, university, is so empty. This was right. Plague towards the village. I don't know when. Feels like it was a while ago. Maybe it wasn't that long after all. We've been away for centuries, but eyes begin to cloud over. Looks as though she's chance within her own memories. What should she be remembering? We've seen a plague before. You heard about them in your history classes. History professor was quite enthusiastic about the subject. She talked about piles of dead bodies stacked on the streets. And stacked up in wooden carts. Stacked up in wooden carts come to take them. With no shortage of applause. Strange woman, your history professor. Looking very suddenly, with no warning. Indeed, everyone is fine. Next. We're all dead. There's no small amount of anxiety in the eye of a gravedigger. Worryingly, really, they could not all be dead. It's an honest exaggeration. Oh, if only. I wish I were exaggerating. That's the truth, honest to God. But from the village died one after the other, just like that. What the plague did to people firsthand. It was one of those people who caught it. I think one of the bodies came through. I'm worried must have had it. Not that I know for certain. Just guessing. No. My brother didn't have an easy time of it. Didn't turn over brain claim me. He complained about horrible fever. No nice sweats and stomach cramps. And it was boils. Pustules. The size of eggs. Like little pus. They burst, stunk. I was just full of it. For death. Then one of the village came to see if she could be of any use to us, but it was no good. My father was too far gone already. I looked at him laying on his deathbed and shook her head. And she didn't want to get any closer. I can't blame her. Ghastly sight. I didn't appreciate it at the time, though. We just turned her back on us. Ill. Remember that after she left. But 3 days passed, she fell sick too. I left cursing her. I couldn't help but worry. If it was all my fault. Silly, I know, but I did close her eyes. She was to squeeze her lips together. She was melt like fallen snow. Her shoulders, very slender, shaking. As she might at any moment fall apart. Not long after the rest of the village fell ill. And no symptoms to her father, no skin, the fever at the boils. Grew and they burst. And then they died in screaming, thinking agony. Father died too, only 3 days after he fell ill. But I think even that was 3 days too many. I didn't want my father to die, of course. I really could help him, but it was all pointless. Simple. Solve. Yeah, solves. Had any impact. I can make a blind bit of difference. All I did was stand at his bedside, telling him it'd be alright. As I sank into his skull like two black stones and mouth dried out. And the last day before he died, he was in a poor society. He didn't look at me, he didn't speak to me. He stayed with his eyes closed, burning. I never wished any ill on my father before, but during this moment I Digger squeezed her hands. I looked upon her loud laugh at death. Trembles. We're starving with awful emotion, she says. Oh, she just died. Based on her anecdote, it seemed like she had overly weight. I think she would consider that a silver lining. No, perhaps not. The baby is still shaking. She will not cry, will she? I hope not. I would look at the gravedigger. I try to soothe her. But you know you must make some sort of effort. What if it's a token one? Look upon a chair. It's very cold and hard beneath the thighs. You say very softly that you're sorry. Not much, so I get the saying. You had thought, initially, that your situation was comparable to that of the gravedigger. Now you see that that is not the case. Suffering is far outstripped your own. And suffering is a competition, of course. All she feels inadequate to your ears, mostly because it is. Your figure seems not to mind it. You very big heart at that girl. Smile at you. So, no matter how foolish you might be, you really deserve such kindness. Come again with the apologies. Like I said, because any of this, I'm not upset at you. Sit and just count what happened, is all. I wonder though, why I never felt sick myself. Thought I was gonna die. For the Reaper to come take me away. But maybe he wasn't interested. He was already satiated his appetite with all the others. That maybe he thought he did leave me alive for practicality's sake. Father gone, I also tend to the dead. I was the only person left at the end of it all. I had to bury the people in the village. Resting peacefully now, on the earth. They can't reach him. On one head, for that, able to escape from all their suffering. I think the people I've lost, though. The gravedigger tenses. She sniffs. When I think about the kindly washerwoman, help me scrub the mud and dirt from her clothes. Ah, this village did have a fair share of washerwomen after all. I seen earlier. Listening upon this particular point was not without merit. I had some young farmhands who would flirt with me. I used to preach at the church. Those wonderful tales of paradise. Those who would skip stones in the lake, and hopscotch in the streets. I cannot but feel so lonely. Gravedigger's eyes began to shine. When she has finished her dress with tears, she won't open fall. You're very brave. It's more than you were. You extend a hand toward her, meaning to give her a hug. No, well enough. But good. And be vandalizing. Here's her hand. So you miss this shows a mythic overturn. The blessing you want. I wonder more of your fear teething over that. For a few moments, realized my indecision. Gravedigger really suppressed her sniffles. In the end, he let her arm drop back to her side, and rested upon her lap. As he swallowed it in damp kindling. You don't know what to do with that. You do know that you ought to say something, though. You heard reply to that you care. You do know what this thing is. You do not know what this something should be, however. No words could ever console the gravedigger. They would never be enough. Enough for some balm. Not for some balm, however. Bereaved. So after the pause, it's just long enough to be awkward. Awkward condolences. me to say. Oh no, the cryptic replies. A few straight tears away at the back of her hand. Alright. I've used to it, Harley. Being on my own, I mean. Not bad, Harley. I'm not alone now, at least. I'm with you. Give me company, won't you? Well, what can you say to that? You're not callous enough to trample this poor girl's hopes, are you? Oh, you bet your ass I am. You full well yourself how awful that feels. You're nothing but nod. That's what was just the girl's smile more widely still. That's wonderful. I know just a traveler who's passing through, but I can offer you bread and board until you leave. I have food enough, it's very by term. I can pick it up for you right now. Must be tired after your long journey. Just give me a moment. And Jerry raised to her feet in a flare of excitement that retreats. I'm gonna end this episode here. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you later.